Now to Washington, and hours of tough questions today for Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
He and the Democratic mayors of Boston, New York, and Denver testifying in front of a Republican-led House Oversight Committee. The topic, sanctuary cities. Our political reporter Chris Tye was in the room for the often tense back and forth. And Chris, among the questions, would Johnson be willing to go to jail for breaking federal law?
And that's a question that continues to linger tonight, Joe and Erica. More on that in a moment. But this was largely a strong day for the mayor when it came to being able to argue Chicago's crime numbers are actually on a good trend, saying that being a sanctuary city actually makes Chicago safer. But things got quite rocky when the mayor was asked to put a dollar figure on what the migrant crisis has cost Chicago.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone...
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you?
It's 1% of the overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing mayor.
Republicans hitting Johnson as much on sanctuary city status as on his latest approval rating.
Are you willing to go to jail for violating federal law?
The city of Chicago complies with all laws.
Oh, I highly doubt that. This is why you have 6% approval rating, because you suck at answering questions.
Johnson and the mayors of Denver, Boston, and New York arguing welcoming cities get greater participation from immigrants who feel protected when police come asking for help solving crime.
I know there are myths about these laws, but we must not let mischaracterizations and fear-mongering obscure the reality that Chicago's crime rates are trending down.
The fundamental divide, Democrats in the room arguing their policies help fight crime. Republicans arguing the mayors running these cities are themselves committing crime.
Mr. Chairman, I don't understand why we haven't been discussing obstruction of justice.
I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi.
Johnson asking for help from Congress to fight crime and having to contend with ethical questions about the City Hall gift closet that he's refused outsiders access to, all as hundreds of gift givers remain unnamed.
This raises serious ethical concerns. You're providing an enormous amount of aid to illegal aliens, aiding and abetting criminals who have come into our country illegally. And you yourself are receiving an enormous amount of gifts.
Sensationalizing tragedy in the name of political expediency is not governing. It's grandstanding.
After the committee hearing, this is how he framed the day.
How do you feel you did, and how did you prepare?
Well, look, it's a lot easier to speak to the values of our city when you believe in them, right? And so, I will say this. Being a middle school teacher in the Chicago Public Schools certainly prepares you for this committee.
So what's the upshot of all this? Federal funding is technically on the line, though it did not come up much, if at all, in today's hearing, though the head of the committee after the hearing said that is very much still on the front burner. As for those Department of Justice inquiries, that federal inquiry into the sanctuary city mayor, we're told that Congresswoman Luna has actually filed that paperwork tonight. We're going to look more deeply into that and have more on it tonight at 6 and 10. For now live in Capitol Hill, Chris Tye, CBS News, Chicago.
All right, Chris, thank you.